Hi. So today I'm going to talk about something that happened a long time ago, only because today is an anniversary. 28 years ago, my life changed incredibly. And I've mentioned this in a couple of my videos before, but I was getting a divorce, and my ex decided he didn't want a divorce. So he tried to kill me. And from that time on, I was a different person. And when trauma happens to you, it changes you. And it's not something that you can explain how it feels. Like before it happened, because I was shot twice and also went through some torture. And now, and it's been 28 years today. So you would think, okay, well, after a while, you get over it. But some things you don't. I still sleep with a light on in my room. Sometimes it's a night light, and sometimes I have to have all the lights on. It just depends. So that has not changed. When I take trips, I make sure to take a night light with me. If I forget, I have to leave a light on somewhere, and it's easier if I can take a light with me. But it changes you in a way that you can't describe to other people. You become a different person. Your trauma can either totally define you, and you can go into that deep pit of victimhood and become so mired in it that you can't function anymore. You become some sort of person that can't get over it, can't function, can't move on. Or you learn how to deal with it in different ways, and you come out of it and you make your life different. It can't be the same. It can never be the same. I have mourned my freedom. I've mourned my body because I have scars from it. I've mourned my peace of mind. I've mourned things that other people would say is silly, like my trust. I just don't trust people anymore. And I certainly don't trust men. And any relationship that I have attempted since that relationship has always failed, always, because I just can't trust them. And I always have that thought in the back of my mind that something's going to happen. And, sudden noises do things. I don't like fireworks. I don't like sudden noises. I don't like movies with violence in them that is really graphic. I say I don't like them. I would say I have a hard time dealing with what's going on in my head when I encounter it. Because it's not that I don't like things, it's that I have a hard time dealing with them. But anyway, so throughout the last 28 years, things have changed a lot for me. And I have to say, a lot of them have been for the better. So, something like that, sometimes it takes a lot of trauma to wake you up, because I was making some pretty poor choices back then. And that's what got me into that mess, in my mind. Back then, when it was happening, I didn't think so. I thought that I was just doing the normal thing, right? But it wasn't. And that's kind of where things went sideways for me. So all these years, I've been dealing with my poor choices And I'm not perfect by no means and haven't learned all the lessons because I still make poor choices. But I stay away from relationships. And so for me, it has been something good because I have went forward in a good way, and then it has also had some detrimental effects as far as relationships go. But after all this time, I'm okay with it. I don't see how I could live any other way. Now, I've helped other people, but I don't, and I've even helped people that have taken advantage of me, as one of my videos shows. Someone that knew my story and took advantage of me anyway. So I don't know what they're facing because I've detached from that. I don't know how they can live with themselves. Somehow they can justify it. People that are psychotic or sociopathic, they think differently. And a lot of people now they use the term narcissist, and they only think about themselves, but they will make you think they care about you until you're not doing what they want you to do. Once you are not doing what they want you to do, then the narcissism comes out, and it becomes war, more or less. And for some reason, I've attracted that kind of person over the years. My ex-husband, the one that died in prison, now that I've learned about all these types of people, he was definitely a sociopathic narcissist from things that from other people that knew him that I didn't know at the time. But anyway, so a lot of things have happened. I've made good decisions. I've made bad decisions. I am who I am. And at my age now, nothing is going to really change who I've been the last 28 years, unless it was something as traumatic as that. I don't see that happening because I stay the hell away from men. But I have to say that in my mind, things are better as far as dealing with that situation and that person. What really did me a lot of good was when he died in prison. And that was in 2017. It was a late August 2017. And the funny thing about that is that on the date that he died in prison, the exact anniversary of the date he died in prison last month, August 25th, I think it was, I got a letter in the mail. And this letter said, "We're informing you that we are not pursuing this case any longer because the case for his, he was requesting clemency. And he wanted to get out of prison so he could go to a hospital or something like that." And, I don't know what was really going on because they never would tell me anything. And anyway, they said his case has been dropped and because he's deceased. Right? What has that been? Like 8 years? Crazy. So it kind of stirred a bunch of crap up because I hadn't thought about that in quite a while. And so I called them. There was a phone number on there. It's Victims Advocate something in the state of Florida. And they said, the lady that I talked to said, "Who signed the letter?" I said, "Nobody signed the letter. It's just like a form letter, and it had initials at the bottom, but nobody signed it, and there was no name." And she said, "Well, they go through the files," and because she looked everything up, she said there was nothing there, and she says, but she's seen where the letter was sent out, and she said, "Well, they go through the files of people that have just been deceased, And if there's any loose threads anywhere, like, they got to finish up something somewhere, they take care of it. And apparently they never sent you that letter way back then. I said, oh, okay. I said, do they not realize when they do this stuff what kind of damage they could be causing someone? And she's like, I don't know. It doesn't make any sense to me either. So anyway, hopefully that'll be the end of that. I mean, he died in prison in 2017. And I actually had to call them to find out what was going on back then, because he had applied to get out of prison, basically, because he was claiming he was ill. And they had notified me of his application for clemency. And so I called them and I talked to several different people. And so the next thing I know, I'm looking up online to see what the status is of his case, and he's no longer in the system. And I'm thinking, okay, well, they granted him clemency, let him out, and they didn't tell me. And so I called them up again, and they said, no, nobody let him out. I said, oh, so he died in prison? And they said, well, we can't release any information like that to you. And I said, so you didn't let him out, but you can't tell me if he's dead. But he's no longer in the system. That's correct. I'm like, okay, so that means he's dead. But I know you can't tell me, but I know that has to mean he's dead. Anyway, that's how I figured out he was dead. And then about 6 to 8 months later, I finally saw all the stuff on his obituary. So I knew he was dead. And he got to be buried in one of the cemeteries for military, which I think is a joke. But I'm sure a lot of the people that were buried in military cemeteries are a joke after they get out and they become these monsters. Anyway, all that behind me. Today's the anniversary. I decided not to dwell on it today, but I did want to make a video about it, just to say that I am better, things are better. So, that's history, and we're going to move on to the next thing. So this week I'm going to take a trip, and I'm going to be going to Washington, D.C., and I'll be there for about 3 days. I'll actually be landing one day, doing some training one day, and I'll be leaving the next day. So I'll be there 3 days, but I won't be just hanging out. And on the day that I'm flying back, I'm going to take, I'm taking a really late flight, and I'm going to go to the Capitol building, the White House. I want to go to the National Archives, and a whole bunch of other places that I want to see. I had been there years and years ago, with some friends, and saw a lot of things, and went to a lot of different places then. And this time I want to go see some of the things that I didn't see back then. Like, I didn't go to the National Archives back then, and I really want to go there. And there was a couple of places that I wrote down because I can't remember the names of them. And I'm going to rent a bicycle. And I think I'm going to rent an e-bike. And I'm going to ride that thing around because I can't walk all those places. There is no way. My feet, there's no way. But anyway, we'll see how that turns out. So hopefully my next video, I will be in Washington. And I'll make maybe I'll make a video of what's going on there. And maybe see the sights. I know I don't have the best camera, but, it is what it is. And I'm not paying another $1,000 for a better camera. That ain't happening. So I hope everybody's doing great. and I'm hoping for a nice flight there and a nice flight back, and I will catch up you. I will catch up with you when I am done.